Morning guys, this is Wyatt with Triad Dirtworks. Day 2 on this project. We started yesterday and we got our piece of equipment here, our trucks that we need. So we'll start focusing on getting a lot of this stuff hauled off today, mainly the concrete and the brush. But I want to show you this concrete slab and how we plan on removing it. And I'm going to show you and keep you informed through it, and we'll go from there. I appreciate it.
Hey guys, it's White here. Going to do a voiceover. Got a pretty big size clip here. I want to do a voiceover over it. Kind of go step by step and explain what I'm doing. So right there I was getting all the brush out of the way from the previous day. And as you see, we've got a homemade wrecking ball right there that I'm picking up and dropping on the concrete. And I kind of want to point out this, that ball, it's a pretty round rock, and I don't know how much it weighs. It probably weighs a couple 100 pounds at least. And it's what we call like an iron face rock. And what allows it to be dropped up and down without breaking is there's actually like iron deposits and iron ore inside that rock, and it's really, really hard. So against concrete, it works out really good, and it's just one of the old tricks with the small equipment that we've got, like that ditch witch there and that U17 that just rolled up right there. It pairs really good with it. You're not putting a lot of strain on your machine with curling up like what Dad's doing right now, and putting pressure on the hydraulics. So you lift that ball up and you drop it, and all that weight and gravity's working with you. It drops on the concrete, it cracks it. And then you're able to take the piece of equipment and kind of prise up on it like we're doing right here. And I just want to point out the ditch witch, we've got probably about 35 hours on it right now, and I'm really enjoying this piece of equipment. I'm glad we got it. We put a lot of thought into it. We didn't make any haste decisions with it. We were contemplating whether it was going to be bring something to the table for our arsenal of tools. And we've got other skid steers, and Dad's mentioned before, he would have never thought he would have purchased a stand-on skid steer. Why stand on something when you can ride on something? That was always his thought process. But one of the main reasons why we got the Ditch Witch 800 stand-on skid steer is because my comfort level on a skid steer is there, but it's not where it could be. As you guys know, and maybe some of you don't know, but when you're operating a skid steer and you got the cage around you and the roll cage, and all that's there for your protection, there is no doubt about that, and you definitely want that there if something was to happen, like a machine tip over or something to that nature. And it gives a lot of added protection, but with that protection, you lose your ability to see around you 365 degrees. And your sight vision is not well on a skid steer, so you really got to pay attention. And Dad, he is excellent at this, and I always remember him saying, especially when I was young, I was like, Dad, how do you ride these things, and how are you so efficient on these machines, especially the skid steer sitting in it, and you're not running over something, you're not hitting a fence, you're not backing into stuff. And folks, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, the yards that we work in, they're not open fields. They are really tight spaces, and that is why we go for the small equipment, and it really helps us out in these small areas. And he was like, you've got to fixate a point in the yard, and in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes of you being in the yard with the machine, you're learning the area, you're fixating points that's not going to change in the yard. And when your bucket or your plane crosses that threshold of that fixed point, hey, you better start slowing up. You might run into something. So all of that's in your mind on top of what you've got to do at the task at hand, which is to grade, move, dig, whatever you got to do in the yard. You know, it's a constant mental thing while you're on this piece of equipment. A lot of people think, you know, hey, it's pretty easy. You know, anything can do it, or anybody can do it. The machine does all the work. Well, I can go ahead and tell you folks, operating this equipment is not easy. It's definitely a learning curve, and it takes time, and it takes practice and patience. So it can be difficult at times. So that's one of the reasons why we got the 800, because one turn of the shoulder on that thing, you can look over your left, you can look over your right, and you can see just about all the way around you. So the comfortability factor for me on the 800, I can see where I'm going, I can see where I'm backing into. It just makes it easier. It's kind of a peace of mind. But with that said, I will say it has a steep learning curve too. The controls is pretty easy, but it's not like sitting in a skid steer. You know, you're bouncing up and down. It does a really good job. We've got a weight kit underneath it, so it helps with the load balance and stuff like that. But it is still a learning curve, you know, trying to grade, trying to move around and stuff. But my level of comfortability is so much higher on that thing than it is in a skid steer. And another reason why we got it is specifically for this reason right here. It pairs really well with our U17 Kubota. You see, Dad's picking through this concrete, and I don't want to, even though I got the bucket on the machine, I don't want to dig in the dirt with it, because we got to haul this stuff out and get it separated. So I hope some of that information kind of helped you out, and you know, there's going to be a lot more like this. And if you enjoy kind of the voiceovers over the work, it's kind of step by step, comment down below, tell me what you think.
All right, guys, end of day 2 this project. So the homeowner decided to limb up this magnolia tree about 4 or 5 feet or head high, and got this opened up real good. We didn't start on the deck today. We're gonna kind of wait, expecting a lot of rain pretty much the rest of this week. And we got a lot of the brush loaded up already. This is kind of all the brush around this side is staged up. Down here, as you saw, the concrete pad came out good right here. And this big one came off. That was the main focus today, because it had to be hauled off separate and dumped separate from all this other stuff. So we got all the concrete out and hauled off site. Got a trash pile right here. We're going to sift through, shake some dirt out. But man, this really opened up down here. It's crazy. It opened this bottom up tremendously. That's that one camellia that stays. This concrete pad stays, of course. And it's on the up and up. We made a lot of headway today, which we had 2 machines running pretty much all day, except when I was going to go dump. This big holly stays, and all those shindos came out. Got this area grubbed up. And what's going to happen, folks, I don't know if you can see that red flag up there, but it's going to kind of come in line where this bed is all the way out here in the yard. From about right, let's see if I can show you guys here. From about right here up, all that's going to be sowed in grass. All that's going to be graded out, and it's going to be yard, and they're going to gain quite a bit of yard space. And the same thing down there, it's kind of got that rounded look to it. That bed is going to be condensed by quite a bit all the way around. Same right here. It's going to come in, it kind of juts out right here, and it's going to go straight, and that's going to become grass. So we got quite a bit of sowing to do. All this straw and stuff was from when the tree guys came out and took a big tree right there in that corner, and they tore up the yard and they fixed it back, and they did a pretty good job. But it's just North Carolina winters, man, I tell you, especially this year, it's just wet. It's just sopping wet. And unfortunately, we got about a half a day tomorrow before the rain comes, and then we'll be probably have to pull off of this one, and it could be a week before we get back on it just because of the ground. But anyways, made a lot of headway today. This project's coming along really nice. A couple more days on this project and it'll be wrapped up. So here's all the brush and stuff that got hauled out, and we're going to clean all this up right now. So anyways, guys, we'll be back on day 3. Appreciate it.